Hello YouTube. This is going to be my first video being uploaded to YouTube. I've spent the last probably about 2 years watching other people's videos and really enjoying it. I really enjoy watching other people show their DVD and Blu Ray collections. So I figured I would start out by doing that, and since there seems to be a really enthusiastic community here on YouTube regarding Criterion, which is one of, if not my favorite video label, then I figured I would start out by showing my my collection of Criterions. So jump right in. I'll go alphabetically here, and actually start with a number, which is 8.5, which is Fellini's 8.5 movie. I just watched this the other night. This is the Blu-ray, and I've seen this a couple times. I saw it once when I was a kid, when I was about 10. Didn't quite understand it, but I thought it was really weird, and therefore I liked it. Then I saw it in college and thought it was, the hip, cool thing to be into, independent foreign films. But I just watched it the other night, and this movie it's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's just, I think I've said before, it's like a love letter to cinema, and it's just a beautiful movie with a great cast, and easily one of my favorites. Next. And technically, I guess this isn't really in alphabetical order, but I have them both under Andy Warhol, so they're under A. Flesh for Frankenstein, also known as Andy Warhol's Frankenstein. Recently found out that this was out of print. I don't know if it's worth anything. I haven't really bothered to investigate that, but I love this movie. It's one of my favorite cult movies. Really bizarre, silly, demented, disgusting movie, and with great performance from Udo Kier as the mad scientist who is never named as Frankenstein in the movie, and another also great performance, a very self-deprecating performance from Joe Dallesandro. And the same can be said for the follow-up, Blood for Dracula, which is, in my opinion, even more twisted than Frankenstein. It's a little bit more restrained gore-wise, although there are some epic puking scenes in it. But I think that the social satire in this one is a little more biting and wacky than in Frankenstein. Both great movies, both have great performances from the Dallesandro and Kier, and definitely should be in any maverick cinema lovers library. So next we got the Blu-ray of Antichrist. I read about this movie. Wasn't really interested at first because I've seen a couple of Von Trier's movies. I frankly haven't liked them very much, but I decided to check this one out, and I ended up loving it. I think it's one of the best horror movies I've seen in a number of years. Very creepy, very disturbing, very bizarre. Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsborough, both fantastic in it. Extremely well made. And next we have Black Moon by Louis Malle. I believe it's pronounced Malle. This is the Blu-ray. I watched this on Netflix streaming. I'm sorry, Hulu Plus streaming. And thought it was completely off the wall bizarre, but great. Thought it was terrific. Just a completely, really twisted, dreamy, surreal take on Alice in Wonderland. Don't quite know what to make of it yet. Watched it a couple times, but It's I like movies that I can't necessarily figure out right away. And next we got Blowout by Brian De Palma, starring John Travolta, Nancy Allen, John Lithgow, scary as hell in this movie. This is such a great movie. It's so disturbing. It's so upsetting. But it's this is another great movie. It's just a purely cinematic movie, and just the whether you know what happens at the end or not, which I won't give away. The scene where John Travolta runs through the parade. You'll know the scene when you see it. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll know it when it happens, and if you have seen it, you obviously do know. But that scene toward the end when he's running through the parade has got to be one of the most gut-wrenching sequences ever filmed. Great movie. And next we have a movie I saw first in film school and absolutely fell in love with, Closely Watched Trains. This is a very simple movie, but it's just a really profound, funny, moving, sad, kind of kinky movie. There's a real famous scene where two people man and a woman are fooling around in the train station, and the guy uses a bunch of office stamps to stamp the woman's legs and butt. It's a really hypnotically sensuous scene, beautifully filmed. And then Crumb, got this at the with some birthday money, and when Barnes & Noble was having their 50% off sale last November. Great movie. As like everybody else, I'd seen Robert Crumb's Keep On Truckin' and the Big Brother and a Holding Company cover art and other things like that, but wasn't familiar with him or his life, so this was quite an eye-opening experience watching this. This is the Blu Ray, if you can't tell from the size. Another Blu Ray. I basically bought this because I felt guilty buying myself a bunch of stuff and I wasn't buying anything for my wife. Dazed and Confused. I like this movie very much. I don't love it. I like it a lot. I had a great time seeing it the first time. My friends and I went to see it in the theater, and we ended up, after it was over, we didn't want to go home. We ended up driving around the city for a few hours because we were so pumped up. But really cool packaging. It's a nice slip cover, a real nice booklet inside. And I bought this mostly for my wife because she loves this movie, but I like it. I don't think I needed it on Blu-ray, but the fashions and cars will look nice. And next, Equinox. This is a very strange movie. Inspiration for The Evil Dead 1 and 2 in particular. Got some great stop motion effects. This was basically made by kids. Dennis Muren, before he went on to work on Star Wars and big budget Hollywood special effects extravaganzas, started on this one. It's a really cool movie. It's a lot of fun. I have to admit, the Jack Woods, I believe that's the name of the director who, Jack Woods reshot some of it and re-edited it, and I have to admit his version is much better than the original short film version, but although it wasn't that short. But the effects are amazing. It's just a extremely ambitious, totally off the wall. It's like a definitive cult movie.